AlRawabi School for Girls is a new Netflix limited series drama that takes a look at bullying inside a school. The premise for the show does sound familiar, but does it offer anything new? The bullied outcasts at prestigious AlRawabi School for Girls plot a series of risky takedowns to get back at their tormentors. Miriam is bullied by a trio of popular girls at their distinguished school, and after a particularly bad event, Miriam decides she's going to take action to give the bullies a taste of their own medicine. Now this plays out like so many other stories. The most obvious that comes to mind is Mean Girls. The bullied person becomes the bully in an attempt to teach a lesson. At some point, the righteous crusade backfires and everybody has a lesson to learn. I'm not really a fan of the whole mean-spirited plot, even when the original bully characters are terrible people. At least Miriam's friend Dina is trying to be the voice of reason in this. Now this has elements of the Salem witch trials where lies are allowed to propagate and the truth is obscured by the manipulation of others. These scenes are very frustrating, but they're done well. They're maddening to watch fervor grow and mob mentality take over as rational thought is then thrown out the window. The most frustrating part about this, which I think is included to greatly increase the tension in the drama, is that there is one who knows the truth but won't speak up. It's effective, but it's also aggravating. Class, status, and power all play into the reactions and lack of action that those in power take. And there's an irony to a conversation that one of the bullies, Leon, has with another girl, Nof, as Leon tries to get Nof to tell the truth about an event that happened. It mirrors the context in which Leon beat up Miriam. Now Miriam transitions from sympathetic victim to antagonistic villain in this series. She's unable to see that she has become the very thing that she was fighting against. Now the story is meant to make us not like her, which it accomplishes, but is there going to be a redemption moment where we then begin to like her again? The show is a little drawn out for all that is accomplished, but it does do a good job of investing us in the characters, even if some of the sequences really could have been trimmed to tighten the whole thing up. We're taken on the journey on both sides. We get to learn more about Leon, Rania, and Rakia, which in turn gives us better insights into their mindsets and why they bully. Now it doesn't excuse their behaviors, but it does provide the background. And the same goes for Miriam. We get to watch her transition, and not necessarily for the better. The final episode is surprisingly tense. The show did a good job of showing the cultural norms, family honor, and then how they affect behaviors, which then lead to some horrible consequences. One message that I really appreciate is that even though some of the characters were involved in planning terrible things, they then grew to see how it was wrong. They did a course correction instead of digging in their heels to continue down the wrong path for fear of just looking like a hypocrite. They're not being hypocritical, they're displaying growth. And when confronted with the truth and new information, they internalize it, learn from it, and then adjust it. I think that's a lesson that a good portion of society should pay attention to. Now, I didn't like how this ended at all. While there is a perverted sense of justice that is achieved, it's not true justice, and it left me with a really sick feeling. Some characters grow in incredible ways, but some are in a downward spiral that is just careening out of control. And I think the show actually counteracts its message and its point with the way they end the limited series. They've worked to build up and illustrate how bullying is wrong, how it's hurtful and destructive, and then show it to us again in the worst possible way. It would really be fitting for the prince from Romeo and Juliet to come out and declare that all are punished, but that's still not true. One bully walks away more destructive than before. Overall, while this is a story we've seen before, the characters do create some moving anxiety and palpable frustration. The bullying message comes through loud and clear, but in the end, doesn't provide consequences for each involved. I like the illustration of how the bullied can become the bully and the dangers that arise from that, but I still wish the end would have been more redemptive rather than vengeful. There's no sex or nudity with some profanity and a little bit of violence. I give AlRawabi School for Girls 3 out of 5 couches. So what are you watching this weekend? Anything noteworthy? I'd love to know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.